Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
For your information, Mr. Ilhan will be our secretary for today. So, Mr. Ilhan, do we have enough quorum to start this meeting?
All right, Mr. HAZIQ. So, Mr. IRFAN,
Here.
Mr. USAYD,
Here.
and Mr. DAIM.
Here.
Okay, so there is no apologies of absence, Mr. HAZIQ. We have a quorum.
All right, since everyone is here, I'm happy to welcome all of you to our internal audit meeting of Berjaya Maju Enterprise. Thank you for attending this meeting. Shall we call the meeting to order?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Director, so before we start our meeting today, I would like to properly introduce you to our audit team. Mr. IRFAN as the head of auditor is assisted by two other auditors, which are Mr. DAIM and Mr. USAYD.
Thank you, Mr. Ilhan. I believe we can now proceed to the meeting. So, the main objective of this meeting is about presenting the finding on the internal control for sales and trade receivable cycles that have been audited by the auditor. So, Mr. IRFAN and team, you may start now.
So thank you to Mr. Director. First and foremost, I would like to thank you for trusting us to audit your company internal control. Regarding the sales and trade receivable department, that may be the cause to the recent decline in sales and profit, and also increase in your bad debts. So we are so pleased to working with your company. So now we will proceed with a presentation on our overall auditing for the internal control for Berjaya Maju Enterprise. So I have prepared the slide for today. Mr. Director, may we present the slide now?
Yes, you may.
Thank you, Mr. Director.
Mr. Director, may I start with the weaknesses that we observe of your company internal control?
Yes, you may start now.
Thank you, Mr. Director. As a result of our observation during the performing audit in your company in the internal control, we have pinpointed 3 deficiencies internal control that, in our opinion.
Oh, all right. So what are the weaknesses?
Okay. So the first weaknesses is insufficient independent review. If ADA who handle everything, which include cash receipt and deposits, also prepare the bank reconciliation without an independent review, there is a risk of error or fraud activity that might go undetected.
Oh, I see. So what are the consequences if there is not action taken by the company? Will it cause huge disadvantages?
Implication on these weaknesses, the first is increased risk of fraud, which is IDA could potentially manipulate record to conceal fraudulent activity, such as skimming cash receipts. And the second is error in financial record. Error in cash handling and reconciliation can lead to inaccurate financial record, affecting liquidity management and financial reporting.
I thought that it will be no problem if IDA handles everything since it will minimize the cost towards our employee. Thus, what are the internal control activities that we should implement to overcome those consequences?
Control activity for these weaknesses is first segregation of duty, which is by dividing up the responsibility of worker involved in cash handling procedure. Fraud and mistake can be avoided. For instance, IDA take care of cash receipt and deposit, whereas RAZMAN creates sale order. It is ensured by this division of labor that no one person oversees everything facet of cash management. The second one is daily cash reconciliation. It is possible to find anomalies sooner by reconciling cash receipt and sale transaction daily. cash receipt and sell order can be reconciled by Ida and RAZMAN to make sure that every transaction is appropriately documented and accounted for.
Oh, so how can we implement those control activity towards our company? Do you have any suggestion or recommendation, Mr. Said?
Recommendation for these witnesses is regular training and awareness. We can provide regular training on cash handling and reconciliation procedure to employees, emphasizing the importance of accuracy and compliance with the internal control.
Very good point, Mr. Usaid. I couldn't agree more with you. Don't you think the same, Mr. HAZIQ?
Yes, I also agree with Mr. Said. And I admit that our company has never taken this matter seriously. As what Mr. Said has mentioned before, I thought that it's okay to not segregate the duties.
Yes, I agree with you, Mr. Director. Thank you, Mr. Usaid. So now can you proceed to the next witness?
Yes, I, Mr. DAIM, will be presenting to you. May I proceed, Mr. Director?
Yes, you may.
Now, for the second witness is the over-reliance on a single individual. If RAZMAN, the salesperson, is solely responsible for reviewing and verifying all sales orders, there is a risk of human error, oversight, or potential fraud. This lack of segregation of duties can compromise the effectiveness of the control.
Oh, I thought Mr. Rosman is our most trusted employee. I thought by trusting him, there would be no problem towards management on the sales order. So, what are the consequences if the company does not take any action?
The consequences the company will receive is the increased risk of errors. Mistake in sales order may go unnoticed without any additional checks, which could lead to customer receiving incorrect items, quantities, or prices. The second consequences is the financial loss. Inaccurate sales order could lead to revenue loss due to incorrect pricing, returns, or additional costs associated with rectifying mistakes.
I see. So, what are the control activities that we could implement to overcome those consequences?
The control activity that the company can implement is that they can do the sales order verification. This involves implementing a review process where sales orders are checked for accuracy before processing. RAZMAN, the salesperson, can review each sales order against the customer request and available inventory. This helps catch any discrepancies or errors before orders are fulfilled.
Oh, do you have any suggestion regarding this matter?
Yes, I do. Periodic internal audit should be conducted to review sales order verification process. Randomly select sales order for detailed review and identify any repeated issues or areas for improvement. Use audit findings to refine and enhance the verification procedures.
Well, regarding on what Mr. Daim have said earlier, I think we should change our policy towards our sales order management that we should check the accuracy of sales order before processing. This will help on reducing the error. Don't you agree with me, Mr. Director?
Yeah, I'm totally agree with you, Mr. Ilhan. We will taking this matter seriously after this. Thank you, Mr. Daim, for a good explanation. Can we proceed to the next point, Mr. Irfan?
Sure. For the last point, I will be the one who presenting it. May I proceed on the last part, Mr. Director?
Yes, you may, Mr. Irfan.
So, the weakness is dependence on a single individual. Limited monitoring and division of duties increase risk of mistakes and scams. Lack of official review process for bank balance statements may lead to unnoticed gaps, And the last one is delayed preparation and sending of monthly bills could lead to late discovery of customer payment and account issues.
Oh, but why? I don't see a problem since we have done it so many times. I thought that it would be okay. So, is there any implication or consequences that would be happen if we are not taking care of it, Mr. Irfan?
So there are some of implications. The first one is lack of task division increases the risk of scams and mistakes. Second one is inaccurate or delayed monthly accounts cause customer misunderstandings and cash flow issues. Another one is incorrect bank balance statements lead to discrepancies between company and bank records. And the last one is misstatements in financial records can impact decision making and potentially lead to governmental compliance issue.
That is true. I agree that misaccurate data will cause a huge problem, especially between customers. We should take note on this, Mr. Director.
Yes, we should taking care more seriously towards this matter earlier.
It's okay, Mr. Director. People always make mistakes sometimes. So for the control activity is makes monthly statement based on open credit sales order files. So we can send bill to customer via mail to check owed amounts. Collaborates with RAZMAN to open and sort payments. Prepares daily deposit slips showing both credit sales and cash sales, and makes a bank balance statement at the end of each month. Verifies accuracy of transactions by checking payment slips and sales against the bank statement.
Oh, so do you have any recommendation or suggestion on how can we implement that for our company?
In my opinion, the recommendation is you have to separate individuals for monthly accounts, daily payments, and bank reconciliations. And the other one is introduce official review method, which is another team member checks reconciliation accuracy and frequent checks to ensure accuracy and compliance in accounting and customer accounts.
That is great, and it could be much more easier too. Don't you agree, Mr. Director?
Yes, I agree with Mr. Irfan though. Thank you, Mr. Irfan, for explaining regarding your findings and great recommendations. I will take this issue seriously after this.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Director. So, Mr. Director, that's all from our findings on weaknesses regarding your company internal control systems.
Oh, I see. There are pretty much things that we are need to improve related to the internal control systems.
That's true, Mr. Director. We hope that our findings and recommendations can help you to improve your internal control system more efficiently.
Thank you, Mr. Irfan, Mr. Usai, and also Mr. Daim. You guys did a very good job towards our company internal control system. We will take your word seriously and improve our control system.
Most welcome, Mr. Director. And again, thank you for believing us for audit your company ICS.
Welcome, Mr. Irfan. Mr. Ilhan, don't forget to schedule the meeting with Sales and Trade Receivable Department regarding several improvements that we need to be made.
Very well, Mr. HAZIQ. I will schedule the meeting as soon as possible.
Alhamdulillah, that's all for our meeting today. I would like to thank you again to all of you, Mr. Ilhan, Mr. Usaid, Mr. Daim, and also Mr. Irfan for attending this meeting. We will close this meeting with Tasbih Kifarah and Surah Al-As.